Hello everybody and welcome back to Microssette Electronics. Today I thought we'd look at something a bit different. This here is the Yamaha DD-35 digital percussion. This is a mini electronic drum kit. It's more like a practice pad. This has 100 different drum kit sounds that you can use and they're all fine. You can also play a built-in drum game where you play along with a pre-recorded track, which makes it feel a lot more like a toy. This unit has a built-in speaker up top and a single 1/4-inch headphone jack over on the right-hand side here, and that is it. I've had this unit since I was something like 13 years old. My parents got this for me for Christmas one year, as I was always trying to learn as many instruments as I could. Unfortunately, I never really got the hang of drums, but yeah, anyways, I've held on to this throughout the years, and it's mostly just been in storage up until about a year ago. Then I had the idea to repurpose this unit so that I could trigger external samples. You can see this LED over on the left-hand side here. That's not original to the DD-35. I added this in myself. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn this on here. So if I turn on the volume and play a pad, so you can hear the sounds, you can change the drum kits. And you might be able to see when I hit a pad that this LED on the left here lights up. And that's actually telling you that a MIDI message is being transmitted. Because if we take a look on the back, you can actually see that I've added MIDI jacks to this. So then you can plug in external MIDI devices, and then the pads can trigger different notes or samples if you have a sampler. So let's take a look inside and see what I've done to this thing. So you can see over here on the side there's a circuit board that's been mounted vertically. This is not original to the DD-35. This is a circuit board that I've designed and added in here. What this does is it takes incoming electrical signals from the pad hits, and then it reads those in with a microcontroller and then transmits corresponding MIDI data out on these MIDI jacks that I've added in. There's a MIDI output, a MIDI input, and a MIDI throughput. So you can use this with many other external pieces of gear. I've also added in a bunch of buttons on the side over here. So when you hold these down and then hit some of the pads on top, they'll have different functions. And we'll take a look at that when I reassemble it here. So how I designed this is I actually just kind of poked around on the circuit board until I found where I was seeing a signal being generated when I hit a pad. And then I just took a wire and then ran that over to my own circuit board, so then I could just design it from there, and I didn't have to worry about modding the original circuit board too much, because these wires can just be unsoldered and removed, and then it's back to its original state. So let's go ahead and reassemble this now and then take a look at what it's actually doing. Okay, now that I've got everything plugged in, I have the MIDI output connected on the DD-35 at the back here, as well as the MIDI input on my PZ1 oscillator Euro rack here. So when I hit a pad, you can see it's triggering my PZ1 oscillator. And then to change the notes, I can hold down one of the buttons on the side here. So for instance, this pad here is really high at the moment, so I'm going to change it to a lower note. So if I hold down the second button, and it's just an easy way to pick some notes, so you could have this triggering notes during a show or for a recording. You could add it to a drum kit and have some little samples on the side. You could, of course, trigger a sample player that has your MIDI notes mapped to different samples. I might do a video in the future using a wave trigger module to trigger different voice samples or audio clips. You could also just attach this to other drum modules. So maybe you have a drum sound that you like already. You can just plug this in and just give you a different way to trigger those same sounds. And the PCB uses an Atmega microcontroller, which is commonly found on the Arduino Unos. And I've used the Arduino Uno and the Arduino IDE to program this extra PCB that I added in here. So you could easily just rewrite the code to make this do other things as well. So it doesn't have to be limited to transmitting MIDI notes. It could transmit MIDI CC values, start and stop information, or any kind of other MIDI data. If you could code it to do it, then it can do it. Anyways, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed something a little bit different today. Maybe in the future I'll do some more videos on other projects that I've done like this. But in the meantime, like and subscribe if you like this video. Stay tuned for more content, and I'll see you next time.